Alright, I'm back for section 2.3 of Algebra 1, and we're going through the examples in this book, Algebra 1 by McDougall-Littell. It's an old book. You can probably get pretty cheap on the internet if you don't have one. Or if you're taking my summer classes, you can check one out from me. So anyway, we're going to talk about, last time we talked about addition. What do you think you're going to talk about today? That's right, subtraction. And we're actually going to throw in some multiplication. I think I need to shut that door. I'm getting too much side noise. Alright, so just like how I told you with addition, what makes these complicated is we're going to have negative numbers. And what I want you to do is try to do it in your head, try to figure it out, and then I want you to check it on your calculator. And that's going to help give you feedback. Some of this, for some of you, this is easy. Others, this is going to be a little more challenging for you. But I promise all of you, if you practice, you're going to get good at it. It's going to get where it's like no big deal. You do it without even thinking about it. Alright, so let's try one. Negative 4 minus 3. Okay, so I owed you $4. I borrowed 3 more. How much money do I owe you now? That's right, $7. Now, so I think thinking about it in terms of money helps because we're used to money. We all buy things and sell things and borrow money from somebody. So, might be mom and dad, might be a brother or sister or grandpa or grandma, but you've probably been in the hole before or at least can imagine doing this. And I think it makes it a lot more sense. Now, I also told you that your book shows you how to do this on a number line. It's too much of a baby step for me. For me, we got to take those training wheels off and get you riding the bike. So I'm not going to do the number line because you're going to end up getting dependent on it. Just like you've seen that kid dependent on the training wheels. They're 12 riding down the road with the training wheels still on their bike. Got to get them off. Got to learn how to pedal. Alright, let's do another one. 10 minus 11. So I have $10, but I spent 11. How much negative am I at the bank? Minus 1. I'm 1 in the hole. I owe the bank $1. Now, in reality, I told you last time, they will probably zap you with bounce fees, but you know, we're not going to talk about that because that's not our problem. Alright, let's do another one. 11 minus 10. You have $11. You spent 10. How much money do you have left? Woo, $1. Let's go to the Dollar Tree and get some candy. Alright. Next one is a fraction one. I'm going to put it up here. Whoop. Always more fun with sound effects. Negative 3 halves minus negative 1 half. Now, some of you are about to break out in a rash because we just put fractions on the board. It's okay. You're going to be fine. You're going to get good at fractions, I promise. And we're going to gently review some of the rules. You're not allowed to add or subtract fractions unless they have the same denominator. These do, we're okay. Now, you can multiply and divide anything, but adding and subtracting, they have to have the same denominator. One of my kids used to call it a demonator because they said fractions are like demons. They're terrible. No, they're not. Okay, now, here's another rule in math. If you have two negatives, like if you have two negatives that you're multiplying together, weirdly, it makes a positive. If you have a negative times a positive, it makes a negative. Remember I told you we're going to talk about subtraction, but also a little bit multiplication. The same, it doesn't matter if it's multiplication or division, it works the same way. And of course, two positives make a positive. But two negatives make a positive. And I told you, or one of the other classes, I can't remember, they run together, that we do this in English. That if you if you don't have no bananas, that means you must have some bananas because you don't have no bananas. You must have some bananas. Now, we're at a little disadvantage here in the South because double negatives sound just fine to us. If you ain't got no bananas, in the South, that does not mean you have bananas. It means you have no bananas, but we just throw in an extra negative for emphasis. Don't let it confuse you. In math and English, two negatives make a positive. So I have two negatives multiplied by each other. Remember, parentheses means multiply. And what are two negatives? They're a positive. So this is really going to be -3/2 plus 1/2. Whoop! More fun with sound effects. Okay? So I owed you 3/2. I gave you one of them back. I still owe you 2/2, which is the same thing as 1 whole. Think of halves as strawberries. I owed you 3 strawberries. I gave you 1. I still owe you 2 strawberries. Anything over itself is 1. Alright, some of you don't know the stuff I'm talking about, like anything divided by itself is 1. Don't worry, we're going to get there. Just at the beginning, it's a little fast. I promise you, it actually slows down and gets easier, so don't panic. It's going to be fine. Alright, see if there's something else we want to talk about here. We talked about all of those. We did. Oh, the other thing is I would encourage you right now to stop the tape, turn it back on again, but do all of these on your calculator, including doing that fraction thing I told you about last time for the D example. So I want you to practice these on your calculator also, because you can get nervous in an important test. Your calculator doesn't. So it's really important that you know how to use it. Alright, example 2 is a big long expression. Let's do it up here. More fun with sound effects. Okay, it is 3 minus -4 minus 2 plus 8. Alright, so first of all, what do two negatives make? That's right, positive. So I'm going to rewrite this. 3 plus 4 minus 2 plus 8. When you do math, work down, not out. Don't write what it equals out here. You've got to learn how to write down. It's how we do it in physics and math and upper math. You leave this part blank for the teacher to write on, so that when you do it wrong or right, your teacher has room to write right here whatever comment they want. So this is getting you ready for harder high school and college. Okay, work down, not out. Next idea. So as I do this one, I'm going to do it underneath. 3 plus 4 is 7, minus 2 is 5, plus 8 is 13. Okay, did you see how I did that one? So you can put all of that on your calculator exactly as written. Put your minus, do your parentheses. This one is minus as you put it in your calculator. You use this minus button. This one is negative. You use that minus button that's down there on the bottom. So see if you can get it on your calculator, but also you should be able to do this like I did, just working your way through it also. Alright. Okay, here's our next rule. This is important. Remember I told you I'd tell you when things are important. This is important. And it is, if you have something like this, -9 minus 2x. Notice there is no equal sign here. This is not what's called a function. And if you have something like this, you're only allowed to add and subtract terms if they have the same letters with the same exponent. 2 has an x, 9 does not, so there is nothing you can do to this. This problem is already done. That's it. Now they put some parentheses in it, you don't have to. This is actually better. So you can only add or subtract things in algebra if they have the same letters, remember that's not times, that's x, with the same exponents. So even if this one had an x, but that one was x squared, nothing we can do. We can't do anything unless they have the same letters with the same exponents to add and subtract. But remember, you can multiply anything. We'll learn how to do that later. But adding and subtracting, they have to have the same letters with the same exponents. Alright. Let's see, how much time do I have? 2 minutes. I think I can do it. Okay, the next idea is we have number sentences in algebra called functions. And it's something like this. Y equals -5 minus x. Okay, now how I write this is what I call an if-then chart. And this is one thing I want you to learn how to do in your head. This is one place where you are going to do some mental math, okay? And because we're going to learn how to graph this, and this is going to give us our points for the graph. So we're going to try different points in this function and see what it makes. I know that made no sense, but I'll show you what I mean. First I'm going to say, remember, this is my if and this is my then. If x is 1, then what is y? Well, if x is 1, excuse me, I substitute it in, and I have negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. Let me get some water. Sorry about that. While I drink water, you can think about that. Alright, next one. We're going to try 0. If x is 0, negative 5 minus 0 is negative 5. Now I'm going to try negative 1. If x is negative 1, then it's negative 5 minus negative 1. What do two negatives make? A positive. So negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. I owe you $1 less now. Okay? What about if it's negative 2? Two negatives make a positive. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. I paid you back 2. I still owe you 3. This is how I want you to do your if-then chart. I want it vertical, and I want you to learn how to do it in your head. And if you can't do that, don't worry. We've got a long time, and you're going to learn how to do it. All right. Math is fun.